she follows, right? The environment that she's creating in her team and in her base shop. I'm very interested and very excited to be having a conversation with her. And of course, we also have regional sales manager Talia Alvarez, that will be co-hosting this show with me, in this podcast with me. So make sure that you share the webinar ID with your teammates so that we can have max participation in this and we take advantage of the knowledge that we're going to be sharing tonight. Again, I want to identify the amount of resources that we have within Primerica. I want to make sure that we address the insurance gap, the need that exists in the industry, that exists within our community of coverage, of protection, of insurance, with the resources that we have within Primerica, with the knowledge that this team can provide, and with activity. That's the most important thing. I want you to walk away knowing that you have got to have action after this session tonight. All right, let's get started, folks. First off, I absolutely am thrilled about the call that our coach called during Marco Island, right? He made sure that we understand that the play is to ask folks, where's the money, right? And within that play, within the where's the money, there is a huge opportunity. And I'm sharing my screen here because it's so important for us to know that we can have great conversations with anybody out there without one simple question: where's the money? And I encourage you to have that conversation out with your community. Stir the pot, right? Start those conversations and identify the money that can be found in families' budgets and the community's budgets so that we can now allocate it towards proper investment, proper protection, and the right financial services. There are so many stories in the where's the money section on POL that I know that my teammates within home office, we're always looking at these stories and we're always looking for, like, oh, I know that person. I know that person, right? There's even multiple pictures and stories of some reps. I know I see our guest speaker tonight, Montoya Parker, she's posted her own where's the money story. So don't drop the ball on that one, right? Make sure you're using that. It's working. It's creating impact in our communities. So get your where's the money story on POL. You know that you have a possibility of earning or winning a ticket to the Broadmoor trip, right? That's one of the incentives that we have with the Where's the Money campaign. And it's supposedly for 3 months, but I think this is going to last for years to come. That has been a big movement in what we do in financial services. So, okay, house rules. We have the Q&A, excuse me, the questions and answers engaged. We also have the chat box engaged. So if you do have questions about anything we're covering tonight, I encourage you to write down your questions in the Q&A. Also, I am going to be sharing the screen with the map of your regional sales managers, which are some of the resources that you have within Primerica, and the contact information of those folks so that you can schedule base shop trainings, schedule Zooms with them, schedule visits to your office, and take advantage of the resources that we have within Primerica. Now, I do want to let you know, in the regional sales manager team, right, in the live marketing team, we've got 8 regional sales managers. We've got folks like Arthur Butler, Jake Marchesani, Shane Rugman, John Foppy. On the ladies' side, we've got Mary Miracle in Mid-Atlantic. We've got Talia Alvarez that's going to be co-hosting today. We've got Danielle Wilson out in the beautiful state of Florida. And recently added to the team, joining the team, we've got Claudia Sanchez. She's going to be working with the territory of Texas and Puerto Rico. As a matter of fact, she's out in the Texas highways and byways right now, visiting base shops alongside Johnny Water Street. So I'm very proud of the team we have and of the resources that we can offer the field. Remember, you're in business for yourself, but never by yourself. There's so many folks within home office that you can reach out to and ask for assistance. That is our joy. That is what we do. We are dedicated to helping you build a phenomenal, strong, healthy business. Let's get started, folks. First person I want to be introducing and I want to bring up is the AVP, the liaison of strategic markets. Within Primerica, like I said, we've got so many different resources, and one of those resources is a group called strategic markets, right? And they've developed different groups like the HALC, the AALC, the African American Leadership Council, the APILC, and one of those strategic groups is the Women in Primerica. And recently added as the liaison of that strategic market was Jennifer Shannon. Now she might be recently added to this role, but she's not new to Primerica. So I want to make sure you know she's dedicated. She's going to be sharing a little bit of information, not just on her role, but on the success that the women in Primerica have been having. Thanks for being with us, Jennifer.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Patty. Yeah, like she said, I am new to the marketing team, but definitely not new to Primerica. I have been at Primerica for 13 years and have always worked in securities operations. So I'm very happy that I was invited today because I definitely need to and want to and excited to dive into the life side of the company and learning how that operates. What makes that tick and what makes that so special. I've worked 13 years in securities operations. I started on the phone unit, dealing with the account side of things, and then migrated over more to the registration side. So the U4 side of things. I managed the SRR, Special Registration Review team there, which I know you go through a similar process on the life side. And I dealt with those ladies over there, Tracy Gwynn and a bunch of that team. And then most recently just left being a manager of quality of business. So kind of back to the account side of things. So definitely securities, I would say, is my strong suit. But again, I know that when you come to Primerica, life insurance is where you start. And the slide that Patty's got here, these numbers I just got last week. But essentially, 60% of our life sales force is women. 62% of all of our new recruits are women. 62% of new life licenses are all women. Still have great securities numbers. 45% of our new licenses and securities are all women. 64% of our promotions are women, and 36% of all RVPs and above are women. That's a huge number when you look at the number of agents that Primerica has. These numbers here are huge, and they're growing every year. I will say that, I think the last statistic, we were still at 60% of the life force is women, but that's where you guys come in, right? That's where now we have to figure out how to grow this field. We're fortunate at Primerica to have such strong women leads as examples for us. 40% of the executive management at Primerica are women. My boss's boss is, Lisa Brown, who is our CPO here at the company. We've got people like Julie Seaman and Catherine Keyser and so many others at Primerica that show us, it's capable to be in a leadership role and be a woman and to succeed and be promoted, which is, a huge part of what we do here. Even our board of directors at Primerica, I believe like 36% of them are female. So that female mindset, that target audience is there, both in management as well as, our agents every day and then our clients. It's huge, I think, in a lot of ways that women these days they want to sit down with someone that they can relate to, that someone that they can trust, maybe someone else who is also making the financial decisions, whether they're head of house or just have more input, this day and age. You've got a lot of working women out there that don't want someone else to tell them what to do with their money, and they want to sit down with someone that understands, where those dollars might best be served. I was reading a statistic the other day that said, I think by the end of the decade, that women were going to control almost $30 trillion in financial assets. And I mean, that's powerful. That's huge. And what we want is our women in the front sitting down with people. So I'm very excited in this role. I've been very fortunate to work already with some incredible women, you know, Cheryl Bartlett, Frances Averett, Susan Carrion, Mika Saunders, Whitney Cooper, you know, Nicole Galanis. You know, we had Nicole and Demira Bolden and Kristen Pat on the WHIP show last Monday before last. And they just did an incredible job. And it's so powerful to watch those women walk in that room, command the attention of everyone sitting in that audience. And I'll be honest with you guys, not one of them wrote anything down. They may have wrote bullet points while they were sitting in the audience before they got called backstage to go on and speak in front of the cameras. And it just speaks volumes, I think, to the strength and the knowledge of the women in this company. Um, those who come before you and those who are out there, there's just so much that can, you know, be learned and gained through listening to them. You know, some of them are in business with a partner and some of them have done it completely on their own. So there's somebody that you can relate to out there, and we're just so fortunate to have such an incredible field force out there, and that just continues to grow. You know, we're not just participating anymore. You know, we're the ones out there driving the production and building those client relationships. And I'm just so honored to continue to go out there and meet you guys. And when you see me, please come and say hey. I'm just trying to put faces with names, as many as I can, as quickly as I can. So if you guys ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out either.
Fantastic. And man, if you want to learn everybody's names, you're going to
Yeah.
have, you know, there's only about 6,500
Yeah.
RVPs, and we look forward to adding more to that. Remember, we're needing 10,000 RVPs. So we're going
That's
to
right. That's right. Yeah, and my email address has my middle initial, which is a little confusing. It's L, but all of that information is on POL under the Women in Primerica tab. My email is out there. Please feel free to contact me at any point.
absolutely. Thank you so much for being with us, Jennifer.
Absolutely.
We look forward to working with you, collaborating more with you. And I know that the field members that are on this call are also excited to welcome you into their office and collaborate with you as well. And of course, lean on you as a resource.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got so much more on the show today. I want to make sure that we continue to highlight the fact that today we want to share the resources that you have, right? We want to talk about the need, the great insurance gap that exists, not just with the general population, but in women in particular. It is scary to see some of the statistics that we're about to share with you on this, that will really highlight the need that you are here to fill. When you identify the need or what you are, what your purpose is, I think there's no better action to that, right? There's no better feeling than to understand what you have to do. And I think it's important to understand that in Primerica, there's something, there's an answer to what the community has been needing, right? You are bringing impact to your community in such a valuable, meaningful, and needed way. And then on top of that, the resources that you have as a business owner, as a rep here in Primerica are incredible and are vast. So let me just share with you in general a little bit of what the need is on a general scope, right? Because I want Talia to cover a little bit in detail on the particular points for women. But when it comes to general points of the need, the gap of coverage, I want you to look at this, right? So 77% of folks studied here said that they have no life insurance at all, right? 82% of folks under the age of 40. This just blows my mind. If you're under the age of 40, you're probably, you know, still in good health and still good ratings and still good opportunities. All of my life producers out there are just agreeing with me, right? Next gen policy, write them up. Let's get them a good rate. Let's get them a good plan, good coverage immediately. I know that's what I'm thinking. 82% of millennials and Gen Zs each have a need for more insurance, have a need for insurance or more insurance. 67% of folks that are married or have a partner are in need of insurance or more insurance, more coverage. 78% of households with children. That's scary, right? We're walking around with a hope and a prayer thinking that we're going to be okay. What if tomorrow's not promised? We have to make sure we protect the folks that we're leaving behind. 85% of Hispanic households, Hispanic right here, that's, his 85% of us, our Hispanic community, are in need of insurance or more of it. 74% of African American households are in that kind of situation as well. And 76% have no access to a financial professional. So not only is there a huge need for what you do, there is a huge need for the people that do what you do. There is no better opportunity to be in the place that you are now. Primerica is the answer for what a lot of the communities are asking for and what they're needing. So I want to make sure to give an opportunity to my teammate. She's been with Primerica for over a decade now, but in the life marketing team for over a year, and has been blazing the trail of California. I know that she's been all the way up to like, what's the Santa Rosa, which is one of the furthest cities up in California, all the way down to San Diego, and from coast to the Inland Empire, visiting all of the leaders, making a presence, making an impact in California. I want you to put your hands together in Zoom land, right? And help me welcome my teammate, RSM of California, Talia Alvarez.
Woohoo! I can't hear you guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and cheer for myself. Hi, you guys. Good afternoon. Good evening. Thank you so much for hopping on, Patty. You know what? That information you were just sharing right now, it's amazing, and at the same time it just gets you thinking. 77% gap of families out there that are not protected. That's a scary thing as well. Now I want to go ahead and just kind of pinpoint a little bit about more of what you were talking about, and just share something else that's very important for everyone. Patty, I went ahead and realized that, and based off my research, right now across the country, there's a real gap when it comes, to life insurance, like you mentioned, and it affects women the most. Isn't that scary? And it's not just because, they don't care. It's not because they don't love their families, but because no one has slowed down enough to really explain it the right way. And I think it's just the beauty of like Primerica, we call what we do a crusade, and it's alive. So because we're not just talking about numbers here, you guys, we're talking about protecting the people who hold everything together. And those are moms, those are women. And the truth is that women are often, helping provide the income, managing the home, raising the kids, holding the family emotionally together. But financially, they're often the least protected. Isn't that just intense? So let me go ahead and just ask you guys a questions here. If your income disappeared tomorrow, would your family be okay? Would the bills still get paid? Would the kids still be taken care of the same way? Or would everything change overnight? Most women, you guys, I sit down with tell me, I thought it was too expensive. I really haven't gotten around to it. I have something through work already. Thank you, Talia. But what they don't realize is it's more affordable than they think. Work coverage usually isn't enough, and waiting only just makes everything harder later, right? And that's why what we do, you guys, matters. We don't guess. We don't push, we educate and show you exactly where the gaps are, because our goal is simple here. Make sure no family is left exposed, especially the ones depending on you. Okay. So this isn't just about insurance, it's about keeping your family in their home, protecting your children's future, making sure everything you've built doesn't fall apart. And I believe that women out there and women that are part of this amazing company are doing exactly what's right out in the field. And, and there has to be structure behind it all. There has to be resources. There has to be people who are helping make things clearer and easier to execute. And that's where our role of a regional life sales manager comes in. At Primerica, a role is to be a resource in the field in a way that actually moves the needle. Not just information, but support that's practical. I work closely with leaders and their teams to help simply what we do, whether that's understanding our products, positioning them correctly, or just gaining confidence in conversations with families, because most of the time it's not about ability. It's about clarity that we provide for them. And when things become clear, people move, right? And I also make it a point to stay close to the field. I'm not just behind the scenes, you guys. I'm on trainings, in offices. Most of you know me, working through real situations with leaders and agents, because sometimes all it takes is a different way of explaining something, a little guidance, or just knowing someone has your back when it comes to things like that. And everything starts to click. And another big part of my role, which I really enjoy the most, is just being that bridge between the home office and the field. Like Patty said, we are a liaison between home office and the field, while also making sure that the voice of the field is being heard. So if you guys have any suggestions you have to make, I am also your gal here, and I will make sure that that gets forward, to the correct person. Now, while also making sure that the voice of the field is being heard, because when that connection is strong, everything just flows better. And knowing you have someone you lean on and you have that support from home office just makes things easier, right? So for me, having been in the field before, stepping into this role, I understand what it feels like to be out there building, learning, and figuring things out in real time. So every time I make sure it's something you actually use, not just things that you can hear. And at the end of the day, if leaders feel supported, teams grow. It grows, right? And if teams grow, more families become protected. And that is the goal here. And with that, it's one thing to talk about supporting leadership, you guys, but it's another thing to see someone who is actually out there applying it, building it, making an impact every single day. So I'm so excited to go ahead and introduce someone who truly represents that in the field. So go ahead, send us your emojis with excitement, and please help me welcome Montoya Parker from California.
Hey guys.
Hello, Miss Montoya Parker. How are you?
Great. Happy Wednesday. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for even having me on the call today. Like you said, I'm a clap for myself. I can't hear you guys, but I can hear you. And thanks for that amazing introduction as well. And I mean, you ladies already said it all. Like being a woman in business is amazing. I mean, we have the capability to do so much. So to have you guys' partnership and to be able to, bounce off you guys ideas, things like that, like it just makes the opportunity so much better, so much easier to run a business, right? So I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys for even having me, Patty. But yeah, I know we were going through some questions, things like that, but just being a woman in business in general has navigated me a long way. I always tell all my women, when we think of women, right, we have our nail girl, we have our hair girl, we have our eyelash girl. We have a girl for every possible thing that we can think of, but who do we go to for our money? And a lot of the times the answer is like, oh, shoot, who do I? Or I call my dad still, or my parents, or right? We're like 40, I'm still calling my parents because
Absolutely.
no one ever
Yeah.
said, hey, do this, do that, take like, so I think that being in this industry and being able to talk to women and to feel heard because, okay, you're a woman too, you understand where I'm coming from. You felt lost in this moment. You felt like, oh my goodness, how do you do this or that? How do I know I'm getting the best interest? How do I know I'm not getting taken advantage of? How do I know, right? It's like still getting our
Right.
cars done, worked on. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, is this the
Yeah.
right price?
Yeah. Who's gonna change my who's gonna do my oil change? Who's gonna do this? And I think, I agree everything to what you're saying. And my dad used to say, Talia, if you have to do an oil change on your vehicle, you have to go ahead and feed your soul, educate yourself, grow, become financially stable. And I just love the way that you are pinpointing things right now. And we haven't even started the questions, you know?
Right.
But should we get started? Are you ready for this?
Yes, let's do it. Yes, let's do it.
All right. So, as an RVP, you get to see many sides of Primerica, right? But uh, you know, let's go ahead and start with this first one right here. What is the advantage that a part-time rep has in Primerica?
I think you have so many advantages just being part-time because one, you're learning, like you just said, finances, right? You're educating yourself. So you're not just saying, hey, help me with this. Your trainer, your RVP, whoever got you involved in the opportunity, they're saying, hey, let me teach you this. So you're able to not have to like I honestly go all in. I think when I started out, I went all in, right? You don't have to be crazy like me though, but you're able to hey, I can make $500 on a weekend by closing a life sale, by educating another family, but also learning myself. I can go PFSU online and learn about insurance, learn about investments. Like you are not having to fully commit, and not even saying not fully commit, but you
Mhm.
don't have to drop the rest of your life and say, hey, let me join this opportunity. You can say, hey, let me go learn this a couple of days a week, a couple of hours, or whatever time that I truly have to dedicate to learning this information and this taboo that we're not taught. And there's someone that's saying, hey, yeah, let me hold your hand and teach you because
And help you.
exactly, because not only is this not a woman-led business, not that it's not a woman-led, as it's a man-dominant industry, finances in general, but also we like women in this business, we are so how can I can't think of the word that I want to say, but we're in here now, right? We have a presence now, but it wasn't always that way. And so we're still saying, hey girl, come on in. We need more people that look
Right.
like us, that talk like us, that are still moms, that still have to wake up and do all the things that you have to do, but I'm able to run a business and do it.
Aren't we just amazing multitaskers? I swear, women, we're some form of alien, something, because
Right.
we do everything, everything. We can go ahead. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not like shaming you or anything, but I give my son and my husband a list of 5 things, and they can't function. They kind of lose
No.
track, and we're just like, let's do this. We're
Yes.
on. Let's do this. And
No,
and
we
you're
all
right.
had
I
some
think
to say. We all
yes.
came
Yeah.
off mute. Yes, I've been called an alien before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the
Multitask
thing, right?
queen.
Everybody, let's be honest, the women keep the schedules, right? So like Montoya said, why not schedule some time in for you to grow, for you to learn, for you to
Absolutely.
have those, adult conversations that matter. Educate yourself. If you can schedule time for your kids to get to soccer practice, during that hour, put a little sidebar schedule for yourself to, have an appointment or make a phone call with an upline. Yeah.
Talk about
Really.
vehicles having tune-ups. We have glow ups, okay, girlfriend, glow ups, right? So that, and you know what? It is so true, Montoya. I remember joining the company at 18, 19, and I wanted a sprint. I used to be in track, and they just said ding, and I was like,
Yeah.
let's go. But you're right. Just being a part-time rep within Primerica just gives you so much flexibility to be able to do other things at the same time that you're growing. And you're not doing this alone. And shouldn't we just take advantage of that? Because once your business grows, I mean, you sometimes get stuck into handling the front and the back end of your business, and it starts becoming overwhelming. And we don't want that, right? Now, I have another question for you here. What is the advantage, as a client? Um, if you can go ahead and just share maybe a testimonial here. What could be the advantage as a client? If you have anything that you could share here of a testimonial that you had, or you can collaborate me on this.
Yes, no, honestly, I mean, our clients, I mean, we get to have the best relationships. You don't know how many nanas, pops, uncles, and aunts I've grown over the years, because it's like, well, like we were saying, when you have somebody that can come in and educate you properly, it's like, not almost indebted, but sometimes they feel indebted or so grateful for that information, that financial advice, that financial literacy. And honestly, just to dive into the example I kind of talked about on Monday, it's one of our teammates. She ran the play with Coach Glenn, and she asked her Nana, "Where's the money?" And her Nana, just to believe it or not, I didn't say this part, but she'd been in the business for almost a year now. And Nana told her when she first joined, "Oh, I already have enough life insurance. Like, I don't need to sit with you, right?" But so that was literally the conversation. But where it came up was that, where's the money? Because Nana was just looking at her finances, and she's seen that I'm spending $3,000 a month on life insurance, and I don't understand why. And I've been paying
Oof.
for a lot of these policies from '05 to now. So over the
Wow.
course of these years, I've been putting thousands and thousands of dollars into these policies, and I don't understand why my payment's getting higher, not shorter, right? Or why
Mm.
do I still need it all? And exactly what you said, we get to go. I went to Nana's house, right? And we walked in and we said, let's break this down. And lo and behold, an agent over the course of 2015 and 19 sold her 25 different life insurance policies. She said she had IUL, whole life, term. She had everything under.
What?
She had long-term care. You name it. He sold her everything under the sun, and she didn't even need it. She never. A lot of the policies was 8,000, 7,000, 10,000, like small whole life policies. But she trusted because he was the agent, and he said, and he would come back every few years and say, "Hey, we're just making sure you guys are still good." And she would redo blood work, thinking you're supposed to continue to do blood work, when no, you were getting a new policy.
Every time he
Five,
got a new product, he
Wow.
was selling her a new thing.
he was selling her a new product.
Wow.
And this is
Mm.
honestly one of the worst examples I've seen, because it was usually when I see agents that sold a bunch of policies, maybe it was on multiple individuals, it was on the same two individuals over the course of that time frame. But that personalized care that we went to her house, we broke down all the policies, I read them to her after 6 hours of reading client company calls,
Wow.
but we do that. We're able to have that one-on-one touch. Like I said, I grained a Nana, right? She's like, anything you
Yep.
ever need. And just to even give you, just to tie it up, we calculated she was spending $3,000 a month on those 25 policies. Over the course of that 15 years, she had spent $285,000 into those policies. And we were,
Jesus Christ.
yes, geez, right. And I think we recovered about 7,000 that we're putting in mutual funds. And now we freed up $2,500 in monthly income for them. And both of them, her and her husband, were both LAPD officers, like super servant people, like amazing individuals. And just that they didn't have the proper agent to care and give them the correct knowledge and make sure that they were taken care of properly. And so, and her granddaughter, right? Her granddaughter, right, is the one who asked her, "Where's the money, Nana?" And that was led to the conversation. But just those examples, like, where can you go where someone would, take the time out and make sure, because it's not like I was able to write them another new policy. They're 76, late 60s, but because we care. Like you said, it's the crusade. It's that what we stand for is so right. We want to make sure that there's not another family like Nana, that she can learn from this experience. She can tell the rest of the family, don't do what I did, right? But she's able
Right,
that to
right.
come into an environment or come across someone like ourselves.
That's an amazing story here, you guys. And you know what? With this campaign that Glenn is so excited about, I'm gonna just go ahead and challenge you guys very quickly. If you haven't done so, I know it sounds like a simple question. Where's the money? Go out there. You see what this led to. This led to a deeper conversation. And when you start having people thinking about their finances, it leads to opportunities that we can offer them, to the proper help that we can give them, right? So, Montoya, I appreciate you sharing that story. That is amazing. You guys don't take that question for granted. It is powerful, as you can see. Nana got that question, asked, and she answered it, and she was able to get the proper protection and the help that she needed. So, one more question, Patty. This is deep. I'm just like, that is crazy. This whole campaign with "Where's the Money" has been following me
Yeah.
around. I've been asking my neighbors left and right. I kid you not, guys. I had a neighbor go, why are you asking me where my money's at? Because I was testing it. I was like, okay, I know where your money's at.
Yeah. Well, and not to interrupt you, but my father passed and my mom couldn't have told you where any of the money was at. And she's learning now, and I, even though my brother helps her, I feel like she comes to me more because I think she trusts, I don't know, there's just something about talking to another lady about it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And so,
Yep.
I think it's important to continue to ask that question because, I think for so long, just older days, females relied on their husbands, spouses, men in their family to handle the finances. And times are changing.
Mhm.
So we've got to change with it. We've got to get in
Yeah,
the know and
and
stay
we
in the know.
gotta stick together, Jen. We have to stick
Right.
together. We gotta help each other out as women, right? And stay strong and united. So let's go out there and ask all of our girlfriends, our mamas, our nanas, our aunties, where's the money? And start that
Yeah.
conversation,
Yep.
and I want all of you to be able to have an amazing testimony like the one that, Montoya just shared. But here goes another question for you. Ready?
Yes, let's
Now,
go.
what is the advantage as an RVP in Primerica, as a business owner? What is the advantage of being an RVP with Primerica?
Man, there's so many to count, right? But
Are you going to
honestly,
say the fun ones first?
right, the fun ones. Honestly, the control of your time is one, and but I would, if I were to pick out of all the advantages, is motherhood. And the reason why is because I actually came into the business with 0 kids, right? I've had 3 and I adopted one, so I really have 4 kids. Okay.
Wow.
But I've went from 0 to 4 kids in this business. And so to navigate and be able to navigate my life around motherhood has been the biggest blessing. I mean, Talia, we live in California, right? Nothing's
Yes.
cheap, right? Nothing's cheap. You live
No,
here.
kids aren't cheap.
Um, exactly. So can you imagine? I just imagine when I talk to my girlfriends or people I went to school with or people that I know, and when they have a child, they live off of 2/3 of their income when they're home because they can only make so much or they can only depend on disability. With literally
That's
Talia, all
crazy.
my kids, I gave myself a pay raise. I have my daughter, I
What?
made 20 grand, 20, well, I gave myself a $20,000 pay raise. I made 50 grand and I delivered a baby in the same month. So
You
like,
see what I'm saying?
right, right. So
Yeah.
that I think is the biggest advantage and blessing I can say being in business, being able to control my time. And I think, we're a little crazy in Primerica sometimes. So I couldn't wait to get back to the field. That's why I still made 50 grand the the month I delivered. Because
Wow.
when you have a crusade like this,
It's hard to
it's hard to
stop.
be away. And I think the biggest thing too, the only thing I want to mention there is when you have kids, people think you're gonna get slowed down. But in my business, my kids didn't slow me down. They actually sharpen me. They help me say, hey, you know what? If I'm gonna take this time away from them, if I'm going to, in a sense, sacrifice these younger years of their life, I'm gonna build something worthwhile because this business can pay me later as well. And so
Absolutely.
it gave me the clarity to say, let me manage my time right. Let me do this, let me do that. So not only did it give me the opportunity to make as much as I wanted during those times, it also gave me a way to sharpen my skills and not feel like, oh my goodness, I'm choosing. I was able to do both with confidence and like say, you know what, my kids get to live an amazing life and I don't have to like put what my goals and dreams, my career on the back burner for motherhood, right? So
Talk
if I had to give,
about, yeah.
Well,
Talk about the
how many
why.
nurses did you recruit while you were in the hospital? That's the question,
right,
right? Because Kristen Pat told
Love
me that
that.
she was recruiting nurses while she was delivering her baby too. She said,
yes,
I got 4 of them on board while I was there in
That's
those
a
yes,
good
extra days.
one.
right. You're
Hey,
working
that's
long
true.
hours. My girl
That's
Naj,
true.
my regional, she just delivered like 2 months ago. She's recruited like 3 or 4 nurses already.
See? That's it. The amount of retired nurses at Primerica in our women's field is
Yes.
incredible. Yeah.
Nurses, doctors, I'm telling you, us
Yeah.
women out there, we're killing it. We're just amazing multitaskers. I mean, you guys, one of the objections we hear the most out there from women when it comes to bringing them on board to this business is, I have kids. They take much of my time. They absorb me, look at me, completely like I'm just done. No, you guys, Montoya just went ahead and said, guys, I got a pay raise for every baby I had, and it's just powerful to hear things like that because you would assume, yes, there's families out there that prep to grow their family, but you guys, kids are not cheap, and being able to work, do what you love, and provide and have your babies with you is only an opportunity that you get here with Primerica. And it's amazing to be able to hear from you, Montoya, because I know these questions can get personal. We can get deep into these questions. So I have more for you. Are you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So, let's go ahead and transfer a little bit here with the rhythm of the questions. How do you create a positive and productive environment within your team?
I would just say it's culture, it's environment. If I could say key points is maybe every it's amazing. Like I remember when me and my husband first joined and we were like, why is everybody so happy? Like, why is the office so happy? What do these people do, right?
What kind of juice are they giving them?
Yeah.
Exactly. No, and I feel like a lot of people feel that way. And that's really what it's about. It's because when you're in an environment of people that are growing, getting better, they love their lives, it's like contagious. And I would say, if anything, that's what
There
we
is.
do. We're just intentional. We recognize our people every chance we get. Like I know last month we had the reset, right? One by ones. Every person that got a reset got their personal flyer. They got shouted out because we want to celebrate you here. Like everything you do, because we know your job. The only time you get celebrated or noticed is probably when it's something bad, right?
Right.
They only want to call on
Right.
you when it's something bad. So we want to recognize every win when you pass your test, when you get your district promotion. Like we celebrate you when you start to make a call on your own, when you book an appointment on your own. Like we celebrate you in like no other fashion. And that's honestly what makes people a lot of times come around and keep coming to be in the environment, because it's like this group of people make me feel amazing. And so I think if anything that being part of coaches Mario and Franny, Billy and Mur, they have that knack with people and just making people around them feel amazing. And I think that we've been able to recreate that environment within our base shop and hierarchy ourselves. But I would say the biggest thing is just making people feel amazing around you. And it's just about life, right? We're here, we're breathing. God gave us another day. Like, why not be like on fire about
Absolutely.
life in general? And then the opportunity that we have to go make as much as we want is like, why not? Come learn this.
Right. And I think that's a great point. I don't know about you, Patty, but sometimes I'm pretty sure you guys out in the field feel this too. There's days when we just don't feel, like getting up and getting it done again. You got to remember your why, which is something that Montoya mentioned. Her why were her kids. Her why was being able to provide and be with her family. Us moms have more than one reason to put ourselves out there and give it our all, and just waking up and saying, this is me again. Let's do this. I would definitely, just say, challenge yourself on a daily basis, and also give yourself a breather because, we can't just eat, sleep, and dream and everything about Primerica. I can tell you something though, when you are working with, when others aren't, I mean, you're already being successful. When you're doing things that others aren't, you're already growing. And it's not just in a business way, in a personal way. Primerica just tends to change people. I used to have my husband tell me, "Oh, you're going to that happy cult." Everybody's always clapping and dancing and singing and praising. Like, what is this? And I'm like, it's whatever. I'm going to my happy cult. Then here I come. And I loved that excitement. And it's still very exciting to see you guys, being recognized and everything. Even at home office, we get excited for you guys because we are a team and we're doing this together. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to go ahead and then just navigate for a couple of things that we hear often. I know I mentioned one, which was, an objection that that we hear a lot is when women say, "I have kids. I'm a homemaker. I stay home and I just have to take care of the kids and they take a lot of my time. I don't think this is the right fit for me." But help us just navigate some objections here. How about that? I don't have time one the moms give us. What do you say to that?
So honestly, my simple response, you guys, it literally is, how long do you not want to have time?
Woo!
How long do you want to not have time? How long do you want your kids to control your schedule? How long? Because that, and it's simple as that, because it's like, I know who I'm talking to at that point, because some people love their misery, right? You can't help them all. So, hey,
You're
you know
right.
what?
You're right.
So, hey, you know what? But if someone says, dang, you know what? I don't know. I can't live another day like this. Okay, let me help you. Let me show you a different way, because if you continue to do what you always did, what are you going to get out of it, right? They say the definition of insanity of doing the same thing over and over and expecting a
Right.
result. Well,
Yeah.
that's what we're doing on our day-to-day life, and if we don't change some things, what's gonna happen? And just another one I always ask too, because sometimes they say, you know what, well, um
I don't
just
have experience.
right, I don't have experience or whatever. And another one that I just give on that one is that, like, when they have a current job, I say, do you plan on retiring here? No. So what's your exit strategy?
That's right.
What they
What are you
don't
gonna do?
know. I never thought
What are
about
you
it.
gonna do? And you don't get an answer.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you expect not to work here in 5 years and you don't know how you're getting out of this place, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it's like, hey, come talk to me, take my number, and let's get you a plan out of here. And if they don't know, I say, you know what, you don't have to know. I always tell people see me today, and even you ladies, you're talking to me today, and I get asked to speak all the time, and I literally pinch myself, because I went to La Sierra University for 4 years. I was going to school to be a doctor, and I literally was so introverted to where I had a presentation in my world history class my junior year of college, and I fainted in front of 40 students. Like,
Montoya.
fainted
Whoa.
out cold. My husband picked me up in the nurse's office. True story. Like,
That's crazy.
but being a part of this group of people in this environment, I had to change. I had to grow. I had to get better. So I didn't know how to talk to people. I was actually very socially awkward in times, right? So
Woo.
I had
I'm
to
glad
learn
I
to
haven't
go.
fainted on stage.
You get to talk to thousands of people now.
Yes.
I know, Toya, that's crazy.
But exactly, you see your guys' reaction, like, I would have never known. And so when people tell me I don't know, you don't have to know. There's leaders that are saying, hey, let me take your hand. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna teach you. We're gonna role play until you get it, girl. Like, that is the environment you're in. So it's like, you don't have to know it all. You don't need every answer. You're not gonna be a financial guru overnight.
Right.
Right.
But we have the resources. We're going to help you do it. So if you're willing to put the work in, I'm down to help you. Like, that's the response there.
I love it.
Standing.
I love it. And that's just beautiful. And you know what, you guys, those that are, here listening to this amazing conversation that we're having right now, she just said it, you're not in this alone. Not even us at home office. You guys, I have amazing leaders as well. I have an amazing team that can go ahead and share all of the resources we have. Jennifer just went ahead and introduced herself, and she showed you all of the things that you guys do. Look at us right now. And if you need to take a picture of us, take a picture, because we are amazing, amazing women within the company. And we are a resource to you as well. Montoya is a leader. Jennifer is a leader. Patty Perez is a leader. She's been with us for years, and she has 7 of us that she has to handle. And you guys, you're just not in this alone. So Montoya, thank you so much again, for giving us these amazing answers to all the questions I just asked you. It's been an amazing conversation. It's been so much fun having you here with us. But let me go ahead and take it back with Patty really quickly before we close off here. Thank you.
Yes,
Take
thank
it away,
you.
Patty.
Thank you so much, ladies. You guys all did outstanding, great conversations and great value, right? To be able to hear from boots on the ground, people that are having success with Primerica, that are proving that their work ethic is making an impact in their communities. Now, I constantly hear, Patty, we need to do something about what's going on social media. We need to fight. Yes, this is the year we fight. We are going to fight in Primerica. Okay, I want you to put your dukes up. I want you to get ready for battle. We need to go out and make a difference in our communities, difference in our families, difference in our pocketbooks, right? Difference in how we're going to retire and how we're going to live our life and the impact we're going to make in our communities. But we're not going to do it on social media. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not where our fight is. Our fight is at the kitchen table. Our fight is with activity, with actually making an impact, not getting into the comments with the videos we see on TikTok and Instagram about all of these IUL policies. Don't get into that. You know how you make them be quiet, you know how you shut them up, you run a scoreboard. You go protect more families, you go have more activity, you go make more money. That's how you shut them up. That's how you run the scoreboard. Don't get in the notes, don't get in the comments, don't get in that mess of mudslinging and none of that. I want you to stay above the fray and run up the scoreboard and shut them up that way. Because the insurance need we have needs to be addressed with knowledge, with the resources that we provide, and with your activity. I've got a couple of slides that I want to share, and then we're ending, okay? I want to make sure that you guys all have time to go make phone calls tonight to set up more appointments. That is your call to action tonight. Start thinking of the people that need protection. Start thinking of your community. Start thinking of who you can go ask, where is the money? There's a couple more podcasts coming up in the month of April. In the month of April, we're going to have the guys lined up for us, right? We're going to have Jake Manchasani, Arthur Butler, and Shane Rudin the second. They're going to be going over objections. They're going to be navigating, and Lord help us, they're a lot of fun, right? They're going to be communicating to us on how to overcome objections at the kitchen table. So that's April 8th. Put that on your calendar. Take a picture of this. And also be aware that on your life insurance page on POL, we're posting this information all the time. And of course, you can reach out to your regional sales managers. Then at the end of the month, we've got the lineup of the ladies again. We've got a podcast called Gen Z POV. So we're going to talk right there about the credibility, how we build your credibility with Primerica. And we're going to be having a field leader, right, a special guest to join us to talk about their experience in the field, their experience with kitchen tables and trying to bring value for himself. So I want to make sure that you guys write these dates down so that you can put them on your calendars and join us on these 2 evenings. Remember again, our coach is called The Play, and the play is where's the money. Get your success stories in on POL. Get your opportunity to possibly win a trip over to Broadmoor, one of the most beautiful hotels in the nation. If you're not already winning by activity and production, that's another opportunity. But win by activity or production, right? Get your butt to Broadmoor. And make sure you enjoy everything that Primerica has to offer. Thank you guys all for being here. And thank you, Toya, for the phenomenal value you provide. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining us and introducing yourself and saying hi. And Thalia, you did such a phenomenal job moderating for us.
Thank you.
Everybody have a wonderful evening. Go get to work, ladies and gentlemen.
Where's the money?